Good morning, sports lovers. You're still listening to your favorite station Z101.9. It's time for sports as you welcome to yet another adrenaline-packed edition of the Weekend Sports Rally, your trusted companion every Saturday here on ZFM, where passion meets precision and every goal, every point, and every victory is given its due shine. My name is Jonathan Dinzwa, the Sports Zlatan, and the next 2 hours, fasten your seatbelts as we rally through the biggest sporting stories making waves across the globe and right here on the continent. This weekend, the air is thick with excitement and drama as we reach the climax of the FIFA Club World Cup, where football's finest clash for ultimate supremacy. The European giants stand their authority once again as we've got all the build-up, team news and talking points ahead of that mouth-watering final between Chelsea and Paris Saint-Germain, a club from England facing off against a club from France. But that's not all. Back on the African continent, the WAFCON tournament have brought out the best in women's football in Africa and none more. So then we will be looking at our very own Black Queens of Ghana. After a disappointing start, the Queens may punch their ticket from the group stage and restore their rightful place on the continental stage. We'll be doing the breakdown on their performance here from the camp and bring you expert insight on what this campaign means for the future of women football in Ghana. And of course, what would summer be without the transfer window's madness? From the last minute base to surprise exits and the shocking switch ups, we will run you through the biggest confirmed moves and the juiciest rumors flying across Europe and Africa. Which players are heading for new pastures, which clubs are strengthening for the new season ahead. Stay tuned, have we got you covered. My pundit will be joining me with the insightful analysis and all you have to know. Plus, our social media lines are wide open for your thoughts and predictions and reaction on that big game between Chelsea and then Paris Saint-Germain. You can join us on our social media handles. We are live on Facebook, ZFMGH, on ZFMGH, and these are WhatsApp line. You can bring in your reactions and prediction for that big game. Chelsea fans outside, you very, very ready for that big game against Luis Enrique? People now call them the football abusers with their tactical display and how they line up, lashing Bayern to lashing Real Madrid, lashing Liverpool during the season and beating, having that thumping UEFA Champions League final. How confident are you as a Chelsea fan ahead of this big game at the New Jersey Sports Stadium between Chelsea and then Paris Saint-Germain? So you can send in your thoughts on this WhatsApp line 0544 321 019 0544 321 019. As a Ghanaian, I'm feeling very happy this morning because our stars are making waves. Mohamed Kudus is now a Koi who will be playing under Thomas Frank. In his first competitive game, Kudus will be going on against Paris Saint-Germain. People have started drawing the line that Nuno Mendes is good until he faces a Ghanaian star, and that will be our star boy Mohamed Kudus there. Definitely his co-friend too from Right to Dream Academy is now making waves already under Gianpiero Gasparini. Seeing videos of Atlanta Bergamo lashing out our star Kamaldeen Sulemana. So don't go anywhere. The beautiful game is calling and the Weekend Sports Rally is loaded and we are ready to roll. Yeah, so you're back here on the Weekend Sports Rally with me, Jonathan Binzwa, the Sports Zlatan. Today, our first topic for today, we'll be looking at the Black Queens. Football in Ghana is not only about our Black Stars, but we have our Queens currently playing in Morocco for the WAFCON, which was postponed, which is actually meant to be the 2024, but we are playing it in 2025 due to scheduling reasons there. But Kim Lasbodjigan, who is the manager of our side after Nora Hoptel left the stands there. So the Black Queens at WAFCON so far, a tough start with a hope hanging by a thread there. We know Ghanaians, we already have our calculator outside there. But before I go into their start there, South Africa, after playing 2 games, won 1, drew 1 game. They have 4 points there with Mali. After playing 2 games, after winning 1 game, they were able to draw 1 game again against the Black Queens of Ghana. 4 points as well. Tanzania, after 2 games, have scored 2 goals, conceded 1 goal. They have 1 point. Then the Black Queens of Ghana, headed by Kim Lasbodjigan, is now at the bottom of this group there with 1 point after a draw against Mali there. So after 2 rounds of matches, the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON tournament being played in 25 in Morocco, as the Black Queens finds themselves at the fourth of their group, an unexpected and worrying position for a team that came into the tournament with high hopes. With 2 games played and no point secured, a single point there, our heads are now on hot fire. So shaky start to a game that the Queens opened their WAFCON campaign with a disappointing loss, falling short in the game. They could have gotten more from defensive lapses, and lack of sharpness in front of goal cost them dearly, as the defending champion South Africa were able to beat our Queens by 2-0. And also a game mixed by chances after Alice Kusi getting us the first goal in the first half. We conceded that equalizer, and it looks like a chronic issue now with the Black Queens of Ghana. I have in the studios with me Nana Yao Osei, one known sports analyst, will be giving us an insight into what the Black Queens is actually grinding over there. So key issues, despite creating chances, the finishing touches of the Queens looks to be very feeble. We don't have that firepower, sharpness up front, and also defensive discipline. Costly errors have led to conceding avoidable goals. People are saying that probably because of the age range. Comfort Yeboah recently played in the Black Princesses, the African games that they won the gold there against the Nigerians. People are saying that we have players who have been to tournament with the Black Queens. These girls are barely 19, 21, 23. They can't compete with the best on the continent. So we're looking. Nana, good morning once again. Good morning. Good morning.
I must say, this is my first time here.
Yeah.
At Z, and I'm impressed. Super top-notch studio you have here, guy. Yeah, I'm super impressed.
We are here doing.
Yeah. So good to be here.
Yeah. Hope you are doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing well, bro.
Sharp. How's your week?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
What club do you support again?
Charlie, why are you putting why you putting me on the spot?
This sounds actually gives me a clue. You support Manchester United.
Why are you putting me on the spot, Judah? Don't do that.
Are you still a Manchester United fan?
Yeah, I'm still a Manchester United fan.
There's hope for you.
Of course, there's hope. Even if once upon a time Chelsea had hope, the likes of Barcelona had hope, then why are you saying Manchester United? We are not supposed to have hope.
Definitely, you guys.
Absolutely.
But today we'll be doing justice to the Black Queens of Ghana. You know, their next game, it's a do or die clash in the final group game. A win is non-negotiable, and depending on other results, even that might not be enough. The team will need to dig deep and show character and deliver performance worthy of their ambition. Do you think, from what we've seen so far from Kim Las, even one of the bad sides here on the continent in terms of women's football, Ivory Coast, we went there to score 3 goals and then concede 3 goals. People have started making their, calculations that the possibility of the Black Queens making it out of the group stages will be difficult, and they will have to draw back and come home, go back to the drawing board. Do you think Kim Las can grind us the results we need on the final day, that group game against the Tanzania, who had a good game against the South Africans we conceded 2 goals against?
Yeah, for me, Jordan, I think before I answer your question, with the Black Queens issue, I have my own issues with the entire Black Queens preparation, the new coach taking over from Nora Hoptel. You and I know that we are top notch when it comes to the women's football in Africa.
Yeah.
And you can write us off. And so for a long time, when we've been absent from the competition and coming back, we all thought that once we got a coach who knew direction, I'm talking about Nora Hopto, going a long run, winning games, and then building this team, bringing back the momentum and bringing back the love for the Black Queens. We all thought that after that contract issues, the GFA will be able to sort it out so that that continuity will be there. Because trust me, Jonah, when it comes to the national team, it is evident continuity is very important. When you keep changing the head, it will definitely affect the team. And that is exactly what we are seeing with Kim Lass. I'm not holding brief for Kim Lass, but this is it. He's taking over a team that has been built solidly by Nora Hopto. And then out of, we all don't know, till now the GFA hasn't been able to tell us what exactly went into the departing of Nora Hopto. Nobody has told us. Yeah. I don't know if you have heard anything from the GFA. No. Exactly. But you see, if you go about things like this, clearly it will affect the cohesion of the team. And you mentioned that in this tournament, yes, playing against South Africa, we can say South Africa is a big name. But they are the defending champions of the competition. So clearly, we may pardon them. And Ghana, we always have a rocky start when it comes to tournament, so we can pardon. But our game against Mali, you could clearly see that we had the game. We had the game, and then we decided to bottle it. We clearly had the game. We were playing. But once again, the issue of defense lapses came to be, and clearly it affected the team. And you see, in the game proper, I can't tell what exact tactics Kim Lass is trying to deploy. Whether we are trying to be all attacking, whether we are trying to possess the ball, whether we are trying to press, I sitting here and I cannot be able to tell you. Because I watched the game, I watched the first 45 minutes of the game. At some point, we were in the game, we were playing so well. And at some point, you could clearly tell that you can't tell which party we are playing to. Yeah. And indeed, it affected us clearly. And you see, the second half, we had several chances that we could have buried. And of course, you don't have the firepower. You don't have those exactly. You don't have those who can convert the ball and put the ball at the back of the net, and it will affect you. People have said that Tanzania are going to be the whipping boys of the group, but you see, if you watch their game
against South Africa last night,
they did put up a good show.
Yeah.
And so it will be a mistake on our part to assume that they are going to be the whipping boys. However, I think that going into the game of Tanzania is an opportunity for us to redeem ourselves. As it stands now, we are sitting last in the group with 1 point with Tanzania, and then South Africa 4 points and
Mali 4 points.
Exactly. So it's going to be a tall order for the Black Queens. But indeed, we need to win and win convincingly. At least we need to be up by 3 goals, 2 or 3 goals, so that it puts us in a comfortable league.
We are yet to even hold on to our long goal.
Exactly. That is my point. And so I'm torn between we scoring and being able to keep our defense so that we don't concede. Because as it stands now, if we lose or if we win against Tanzania, and then the rest of the team, that is South Africa and that of Mali. If it ends up maybe in a stalemate or 1-1, it means that we are suffering the chance of not being able to qualify for the next stage. And that is definitely going to affect us. And so clearly, if you ask me, going to the Tanzania, Kim Lass needs to tell us, give us reasons why we letting Nora Hopto go is a good choice to bring him in. And you see, I want to hold my horses here, because if we don't qualify to the next stage of the competition and we get kicked out, the Ghana Football Association, under the president of Kurt E. Okroku, needs to answer a lot of questions. Because clearly, if it's about money, you can't tell me we can't cough out the demands of, or we can't meet the demands of Nora Hopto. Because this is somebody who has proven, is tried and tested.
She proved to Ghanaians that she's building something.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to struggle and then check the track record of Kim Lass. I'm trying to struggle. I'm trying. Maybe you have to help me. I don't know. But this is a coach who came in, brought fresh energy into the Black Queens team, where indeed we could see they were winning games, they were scoring. Defensively, they were good. But here we are again. The GFA made excuses and then let her go. So a game going into the Tanzania, in fact, the Tanzania game, definitely.
That would be a difficult one.
Yes, but of course, I trust the Black Queens to at least get a win and then wait for what will happen in between.
Do you also agree with people making concerns about the age category? Because we've seen other national teams like the Super Falcons of Nigeria, upon how good they have youngsters coming from their ranks, they still keep the likes of Asisat Oshuala still in their squad because they believe these are girls who have done it before, and they, with their experience and maturity, if they are part of the squad, to actually help the young ones, the few young ones who are joining their squad to gel so well. But for the Black Queens, it looks like each year, each tournament, each squad, each group, new coach, there's always a new set. Yeah. So if you check players like Comfort Yeboah, fantastically, he's one of the best right backs.
Absolutely, yeah.
We saw her with the Black Princesses. But people are asking, who was that right back when we were playing in 2015 when the Black Queens were winning gold at the African Games? So why can't we keep the tangent of making these players the paramount people and the key players to perform in the upcoming tournament? But we rather choose to bring young talent, because the likes of Priscilla Adubia, Doris Buadua, Jennifer Kujo rather, won the Women of the Match MVP of the game they played last night.
Sure.
But for her, that was her debut into the game. She's the deputy captain for the Black Queens of Ghana. Are we not rushing our stars? The queens outside of the game, bringing new faces. Don't you think it is affecting how we want to see our Black Queens to play?
You see, Jonah, when it comes to cohesion and then continuity, and of course, if you like, transition, it's a major problem of Ghana football. We would not like to even limit it alone to the Black Queens. Yeah. It cuts across all our national teams, where we fail to always go through the process. Because, mind you, Jonah, if you have a young team and then they keep playing for a long time, it brings about cohesion. And it makes it easy for them to play. Okay. Because if you have a team that have played for a particular time and then they play for a year or two, maximum, Ghana, maximum 2 years, then we have to make changes. But it's not done. You mentioned Asisat Oshuala.
Yeah.
She's
still there.
Exactly. She brings a lot of experience. Because clearly you could tell that these players, on the day, yes, individual skills, they have it. But then the experience comes to play. Yeah. Because you want a South African team, and clearly you can tell.
Their previous squad that won the women's tournament, they have almost 18 players in their current squad.
Exactly. But can we say same of the Black Queens?
No. We have only 4 players.
No. So we always want to skip the process, and it's not done. It won't work. Because we all know that from the under 17, you go to the under 20, then they transition into the 23, and then the main team. Yeah. So they will go through the process, and you maintain that team so that the transition becomes smooth for any coach that takes over. And you see, I go back to the Nora Hoptel team because she built a team. The number of players that she was able to assemble, at a point you could see clearly that they were playing to a pattern.
Yeah.
But tell me how many of the players now that under Nora Hoptel are able to feature in this Kimlas team?
No.
So it won't work. So it's a major problem. I've heard that commentary. And you see, they always say it's about form. It's about players who are doing well in their respective clubs. But it doesn't work like that. You see, you can have a player playing so well for Faith Ladies. You can have the Police Ladies. But at the end of the day, when they come together and they are playing in the national team, it's an entirely different ball game. Because there needs to be that transition. There needs to be that togetherness for a period of time. And experience also, you cannot write that off. Who in this team can you say, when the going gets tough, can tell you that, hey, let's do this, let's do that?
The players we even thought will be doing the miracles under Nora Hoptel today are on the bench for Kimlas.
And no, but you see, and it comes back to the tactics. You see, Jonah, I don't want us to sound unpatriotic, okay?
No, because but these are facts that we have to
I understand, because me, I'm trying to hold my horses until our game against Tanzania. Because that should be a make or break for Kimlas.
Yeah.
He has no excuse at all. He has no excuse, because if we lose against Tanzania, or even if you draw against Tanzania, then some of us will begin to come in with the questions that we have on our mind about tactics, about what he's about. What is the short-term plan? What is the long-term plan from Kimlas? You and I sitting here, we don't even know. So I just want to be a bit patriotic and see what happens in our game, in our final group game. And that indeed, some of us will just bring our pens and papers and try to write them and then mark him last, and then we have what to say. But of course, I understand you. I support 100% that in terms of experience, we are lacking. In terms of cohesion, we are lacking. You could see that these are individual talents.
Yeah.
And until we get an individual brilliance from a player who will get at a goal, we are definitely lacking.
I think the Black Queens will have to up their game against Tanzania, and hopefully other result from the dynamics in the group so far, we have to make it happen. So Ghana, as we speak, at the bottom of the group with the lone point there. South Africa women after 2 games have 4 points. Mali after 2 games also have 4 points there. And then Tanzania, they drew against South Africa. They have 1 point. At the Black Queens, 4th in the group, they have only a point there. So our ranking of the 3rd best placed teams, probability that even we are going to get good results against Tanzania is a bit lower, because this is a Tanzanian side that they were able to stand toe to toe against the defending champions of the WAFCON, South Africa. That's Naya, I would say, you heard from today. We'll be looking into these and many more. But the big story on the block will definitely be in US, New Jersey, the final, the Club World Cup, the biggest ever final in terms of club football history, due to, if you are considering the prize money. I know football fans are not ready for us to talk about the viewership, even fans trooping in to watch the Club World Cup. But Alexander Ceferin from UEFA and also FIFA, Gianni Infantino, if you team them together, they will tell you that because of the prize money, this will be one bigger. We had clubs from other continents participate over the Africa. We saw the likes of Esperance Sportive, the Tunis, Mamelodi, Sundowns, Ali, and then WAC of Morocco, but they just exited the competition from the group stage. Before we go into that big game, the final, I know Chelsea fans are getting ready with their predictions. You can tune in to ZFMG. You're live on Facebook and also live on YouTube. You can bring in your comment on the WhatsApp line 0544 321-019. But the other sporting update here we have to do, as you know, Z Sports in the Weekend Sports Rally will be giving you all-round sports, not only football. There are some news in tennis, as I've been giving you, from the updates weekdays, from the Carlos Alcaraz to the Iga Swiatek. Now, the climax of it all, Club World Cup final will be happening, but the big one too in the world of tennis will be between Carlos Alcaraz and then Jannik Sinner. But before we go into that, there's some news here in England. Crystal Palace fans will be so happy as the scenes of their pure joy after their 1-0 win over Manchester City at Wembley made them one of the 2025 most memorable football stories. They believe that they've earned their right to play in the Europa League next season, according to the World Place sources. Their factions, the UEFA, have a similar opinion and different thing altogether. But less than 2 months on, the aftermath has been tainted by acrimony, rivalries, and ultimately UEFA rules and around multi-club ownership rules governing football in Europe. So the upshot is that Palace are out of the Europa League and Nottingham Forest will take their place there. So Palace are now in the Conference League, where the prize money and the glory are significantly less there. That will have to be underlined, because Crystal Palace won the FA Cup, so they booked their slot to play in next season's Europa League. But due to acrimony and multi-club ownership rules there, Nottingham Forest will be having that slot, whilst Crystal Palace, who won the FA Cup, will be participating in the last tournament there. That will be the UEFA Conference League. So Palace are now expected to take their case to the Court of Arbitration for Sports there. With all this, we have to listen to Palace and their secretary, Parish, their reaction and what they'll be doing with the ruling from FIFA and then UEFA.
Well, obviously, we're devastated. You know, we're devastated for, most importantly, the supporters, and I think something the supporters of all clubs should be devastated for us, because this is the dream. You know, you win a cup, actually win something for the first time in your history, and as somebody said to me, it's like winning the lottery and going to the counter and you don't get the prize. So I'm devastated for the players, for the fans, for the staff, and I think it's a bad day for football. I think most football fans, right-minded football fans, will see what an injustice, terrible injustice this is for the football club, and one that I ideally hope somebody can remedy, because I do believe that nobody in football wants to see this. Nobody in football, and I don't think UEFA want to see this. Clubs that rightfully qualify for a competition being locked out of that competition on the most ridiculous technicality that you could imagine. We will appeal. I don't want to prejudge that. Well, I say we'll appeal. I mean, we're looking at all of the options at the moment. That obviously is one option. I think what we would much prefer is if somebody intervened in this process. You know, we believe it's possible for Mr. Schäffrin or somebody to do that. I think there are, you know, a number of really important points that people need to consider. First of all, from what I can see, there's no other rule around the licence that has a deadline. There are people still resolving their issues now, as we know, people who have to put money into bank accounts by next week and will have a test next week. So the date in itself seems an incongruous thing to do. Secondly, this is a rule we can't comply with. So a rule's been created that's impossible for Crystal Palace, the majority owners of Crystal Palace, to comply with. A minority shareholder needed to either sell or place their shares in trust. We had no power to compel them to do that. So that part alone is completely incongruous. How can you pass a rule and sanction a club for a rule they couldn't comply with?
So that's Paris from Crystal Palace, that they cannot comply with the rules from Alexander Schäffrin and then UEFA, so they will be going to the Court of Arbitration for Sportcast. They hopefully Crystal Palace will be reinstated in next season's Europa League there, because it will be very painful seeing your club winning the FA Cup, earning a direct slot into the UEFA Europa League. But unfortunately, due to club ownership rules, you know, having shares here, John Textor having shares here, we've seen other clubs suffer from the same spot. But for what happened in France, having Olympique Lyonnais back into the Ligue 1, that they'll be participating well, clearly this will take effect there. Nottingham Forest now bringing up a new rivalry between both clubs there. But before we move from that story to the Club World Cup final, ahead of that big game between Chelsea and then Paris Saint-Germain, the player with the most touches and the most passes in the Club World Cup that we've enjoyed, from the first goal being scored from Kingsley Coman, who plays for Bayern Munich. Hopefully the final goal might be scored again by Vitinha also in that final tomorrow, ahead of the game against Enzo Maresca's side. Let's have a listen to Vitinha on how ready they are tactically.
It's going to be a difficult match for sure. It's a final. They want to win the final as well. It will be tough. But right now we're going to rest. It was a lot of hot in the game. We really need to rest well to face the final the best way possible. And we'll see as well what Chelsea can do. Analyze the opponent to face the final the best way possible. And we'll see as well what Chelsea can do. Analyze the opponent to face them the best way possible.
So that's Vitinha there, that they'll be analyzing their opponent to know the best thing that they can do. And also, before we go into the final there with Nanaia Osei and what to expect from the big game from these two giants in Europe, something happened in the semi-final between Real Madrid and then Paris Saint-Germain. And ahead of that game and after that game, Luis Enrique, who is the manager for Paris Saint-Germain, also talk about the final against Chelsea. But he made mention that before they'll be in that final, they will have to go through the 15th time UEFA Champions League winners, Real Madrid. Let's have a listen to Luis Enrique.
It's not very nice to speak before the final, and you need to win the semi-final against Real Madrid. It's always to be a real challenge. Okay, if we are there, I hope we can be there. We can analyze and we can judge and we can talk about the Chelsea, but congratulations to them because they are. I hope we can be there. We can analyze and we can judge and we can talk about the Chelsea, but congratulations to them because they did it great. They are in the last step, and for sure they deserve that.
So for sure they deserve to be there. Chelsea already booked their slot after notching off João Pedro 2 goals against his boyhood club Fluminense there before Paris Saint-Germain joined them. Today we'll be dissecting that game between Real Madrid and then Paris Saint-Germain. I know Madridistas are not happy at the moment. They saw their players playing with no sense of urgency. At Paris Saint-Germain proved once again that they are the reigning champions of Europe. Other news in Italy, Stefano Pioli is the new manager of Fiorentina. Pioli, who used to play and manage Fiorentina, he returns and provinciously also he won the Italian Serie A with AC Milan in 2021-2022. He has now signed a contract until 2028 with Fiorentina. They'll be moving from footballers to be given our listeners, our fans here on Tennis Update. So the last time Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner met in a Grand Slam final, it's turned into an epic encounter lasting almost 5.5 hours. So now 35 days from that French Open thriller, Roland Garros, they will meet again in Sunday's men's final at Wimbledon. So after ending Novak Djokovic's hopes of achieving the 25th Grand Slam title, world number one Jannik Sinner was asked what fans could expect when he faces Carlos Alcaraz once again. For those who somewhat missed the epic encounter in France, the Roland Garros, here's a reminder that Alcaraz, the defending champion, recovered from 2 sets down against the world number one, saving 3 championship points on the way to beat Jannik Sinner. Both players pushed themselves and each other to hit the limit in a classic contest that showcased all their shots-making, athleticism and resilience there. Despite it being an all-time classic, Alcaraz has not yet got around to watching it back. So Sinner and Alcaraz are very much the dominant forces in men's game as we enter the post-Big Three era of Federer, Nadal, and then Djokovic. The pair have now won the last 6 majors between them and will wrap up the 7th on Sunday. So once only before the Open era have 2 top seeds met in men's single final. A first time 3 Grand Slam winner, and the year was in 1978. But Sinner does not believe his Alcaraz's recent dominance can be mentioned in the same breath as the Federer and Nadal and Djokovic era. So on Sunday, since the start of the title winning run at the China Open in 2023, Sinner has lost 11 of 127 matches contested, meaning almost half of his losses in his time had been against Carlos Alcaraz there. So the Spaniard youngster making waves in the world of tennis there. So these are the head-to-head between Sinner and then Carlos Alcaraz. The people who will be betting on who will know who to put their coins behind there. So 4 wins for Jannik Sinner, who is the world number one. People have questions because how can the world number one have only 4 wins against the number 2 currently there by points from tennis? So 8 wins for Carlos Alcaraz, 20-25 win-loss record, 20 to 3 points there, 42 to 5 there. Career singles titles, Jannik Sinner racking up 19 titles, while Carlos Alcaraz have 21 at the age of 21. Also, career prize money 56.1 million euros for Jannik Sinner, while Carlos Alcaraz has 61.1 million euros. So on Sunday, to be a big game there, the Wimbledon, who will be making it, who will be clinching the ultimate trophy. They'll be living from tennis back to football, and the Club World Cup. Now we'll be looking at that demolition exercise by Paris Saint-Germain. Luis Enrique was able to do it against Arne Slot. Luis Enrique was able to do it against even Pep Guardiola during the group stages. He was able to do it once again against Unai Emery, Aston Villa. He was able to dismantle the club that has been to the final 2nd time in 3 years. That's Simeone Inzaghi's Inter Milan by 5-0. That was not all. The start of the Club World Cup, they were able to thumb the only Spanish side that beat them during their run to the UEFA Champions League victory, Atletico de Madrid, by 4-0. From that, they were able to beat Lionel Messi's Inter Miami and Javier Mascherano. First 45 minutes, 4 goals, that was done. And Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany wanted to, have some company with miracles, but then happened for them as they were thumped out of the tournament. Sad there. They saw their key player, Jamal Musiala, being injured, but football still goes on. Bayern exited the competition there by 2-0. And just recently, on the silver platter, Xabi Alonso building a system right after his predecessor, Carlo Ancelotti, also fell once again to Paris Saint-Germain. Now, in history, they have 13 games played. Real Madrid 5 wins, Paris Saint-Germain 5 wins. But this win was a thumping victory for Les Parisiens. 4 goals against the 15th time UEFA Champions League winners. Nana, was that too surprising for you to see Real Madrid concede 4 goals against PSG? Or you think when the winning starts rolling in for a good side, no matter their opponent, they can do it against them?
All right, Jonah. Before I answer that, we have lots of people who are tuning into the show, and they want me to extend their regards to you. They say, yeah, you're doing a fantastic job, including my family. But one thing they are saying is, they say you're butchering my name. They said the name is Osai, not Osei.
Oh,
so my family is saying, yeah, they tell you that.
We'll be getting that right in the next minute.
Yeah. All right. So, Jonah, the game, before I come to the semi-final game with Real Madrid, let me just say that Luis Enrique is a big name when it comes to global football, no doubt.
Yeah.
We can all attest to what he did with Barcelona, winning everything that there is. And then after he decided that he will switch to the national side, a lot of people criticized him before the 2022 FIFA World Cup when he decided to parade an entirely young team to the World Cup. But he knew exactly what he was
I remember one thing that he did was he moved Rodri from the midfield to the center back position.
Absolutely. So this is a coach who knows what he's about, and he's a disciplinarian. One thing I like about him, so you have to play according to his style.
Yeah.
If you don't, definitely you won't fit in.
You know what you just said? Kylian Mbappe is laughing. Kylian Mbappe
Absolutely.
said, I didn't agree to play.
We all know the Kylian Mbappe story. So now to your question. You see, I was not surprised at all that Paris Saint-Germain annihilated Real Madrid. Because before this tournament, there were a lot of people were saying that, yes, maybe the UEFA Champions League was just, UEFA Champions League it has a way of blessing you.
Yes.
So it was just...
People felt they were at the good side of the draw.
Exactly. So the Champions League just blessed them with a trophy after a long suffering. So they will not be able to replicate that performance in the Club World Cup. But indeed, Enrique has proven to us that he's a top-notch. You mentioned they are proud to the final now, and clearly you could tell that he's a master of the game. The game against Atletico Madrid, Dembele even at some point was not featuring, but trust Bacola, trust Desali Dre, trust Cavasquera. These guys will on the day do the job for you. And so the game against Real Madrid, coming into a game where Xabi Alonso has switched from Bayer Leverkusen to Real Madrid, taking over a team, trying to introduce a new system. Anybody who has watched this Club World Cup keenly will attest that Real Madrid are gradually adapting to the Alonso style.
Okay.
Typical of Carlo Ancelotti, where you have the 3 attackers going.
That freedom up front.
It's not like that. He wants to press. He doesn't want a situation whereby if you are Kylian Mbappe, you stay up front. If you are Vinicius Junior, you stay up front. You have to press, you win the ball, and you do quick transitions. And these players are finding it difficult to play. And Tchouameni being the pivot there, it's been a while I saw Tchouameni do that job.
Yeah.
But Alonso wants Tchouameni to do that. So definitely they are going to struggle. In fact, they struggle to grant results. They struggled. We all know that they struggled to grant results together. So when they met Paris Saint-Germain, I knew it was going to be a walk in the park. I knew a lot of people who were saying that this is Real Madrid. They have won the Champions League 15 times. They are big names in global football. And so they were going to give Enrique a good run for his money. But I maintain that if you watch this Paris Saint-Germain team, their game against Inter Milan in the grand finale, bro, I know you're a Barca fan. Don't be offended, but you see, the game against Barcelona, the Inter game against Barcelona, clearly you could tell that Inter had a way of containing the likes of, exactly.
The likes of Lamine Yamal.
Exactly. They contain the Rafinha.
2-3 players will be on you.
They contain them. DeMarco on the day will get the job done. But we didn't see that when they played against Paris Saint-Germain.
And people start to ask this question: that is it that Luis Enrique psychologically eats into his opponent's head that whenever they meet a club, you expect them to put up a fight, the club goes off. Because Inter Milan slept throughout 19 minutes, they conceded 5. In their history, we have to, it was one of the biggest thrashing finals.
Absolutely.
In their history, in the last 4 years, they've never conceded more than 3 goals.
Absolutely.
It happened against Fiorentina in the Italian Serie A. They are one side that no matter how difficult it gets, you won't beat them more than 4.
Absolutely.
But the French side, for the first time in their history, winning the UEFA Champions League, were able to dismantle them. And it is too. It looks like Luis Enrique has a certain system that the players that you might think they will score won't score. Fabian Ruiz scored against Arsenal in the knockout phase. And for that guy, he's been scoring in knockout games even for the Spanish national team. He scored against Inter Miami. He scored against Atletico de Madrid. He scored 2 goals against Real Madrid.
Absolutely.
But still, upon we saying all this, no matter the team they are facing, their coaches don't even find an antidote to stop this.
Absolutely. Style. And speaking of the goals, there's one quote that I chanced on whilst coming here, which he said that he prefers 4 players to score 12 goals than 1 player to score 40 goals.
I think with him saying this, we have the statistics to back him. So Luis Enrique actually said this, and it is working for him. For players who will be scoring multiple goals, they said Doué 16 goals, and then we have players like Kvicha Kvaratskhelia 13, Ousmane Dembele up to 37. You have Goncalo Ramos, who is even from the bench giving you like 16 goals,
double digits
and
as well.
Fabian Ruiz giving you double digits. Achraf Hakimi, if you had to combine his goal from the League One to the trophy, the champions have over 15 goals.
For a right
back. Nuno Mendes giving in the assist. Clearly, this is an all-rounded team.
Sure.
We'll be coming back to that topic. But you see, for Real Madrid, we've seen that online banter that people are saying there's now a bad friction between Arda Güler and then Jude Bellingham. Already, the existing one was between Kylian Mbappe and then Vinicius Jr. We all know one of the best coaches who knows how to manage egos. We saw him doing it with that AC Milan team. There were big stars, Pirlo, Inzaghi, Seedorf, Gattuso. He was able to manage them to get the best out of them. Even with Don Carlo Ancelotti, a season where Kylian Mbappe joined, he was not able to manage that thing to get us the Real Madrid we saw when there was even the BBC. He was not able to manage these guys of Vini, Mbappe, Rodrigo, and then Bellingham. Do you think Xabi Alonso will be the man to solve it? Already Florentino Perez banked on him that he will do it, and that's why he called him to manage the club. But clearly, from what we have seen, football fans are calling that it is either Mbappe leaves or Vinicius leaves. Do you think Xabi Alonso can keep these 2 guys and still make them adapt to his system, or one will have to pack his things from the Bernabeu?
For me, I think that Xabi Alonso, he has one of the most difficult jobs in the world right now. You see, managing the egos of Real Madrid, it takes a manager with, excuse my French, balls.
But Carlo Ancelotti wasn't able to, do that.
Exactly. Don Carlo had that. But you see, Don Carlo had a way of managing these 3 guys. I want to even add Jude Bellingham. Because for me, before Mbappe,
Jude Bellingham was his poster man.
Exactly. But you see, in Real Madrid history, we can all attest that there is only one poster boy.
Yes.
From the Nazario Ronaldo, Luis Figo, Karim Benzema, Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo. You might have your Galacticos, but there is only one poster boy. And so for me, the Xabi Alonso issue, or the problem he has on his hand is his ability to understand that the Real Madrid as we have it now, you have Kylian Mbappe, who we all know naturally likes to operate from the left
flank.
That's what he does. But you see, we are struggling. And I said before he came that Vinicius Jr. playing that position and trying to convert or trying to tell Mbappe to play as the prima punta, as you want to put it, is going to be difficult. But people said, Don Carlo will manage it. He did, of course. He got us double figures.
Yeah,
he's done well in his first season. I must say, I won't fault him. But clearly, they are struggling
As a team.
They are struggling
As a unit.
Yes. And now you see who is suffering now. Rodrigo is the one suffering now, and Xabi Alonso is refusing to see that the problem has nothing to do with Rodrigo.
Yeah, people are not
But
realizing.
because he's trying to fit the two, he's trying to play the two, and then trying to play the system to favor the two. Rodrigo is the one struggling, and it's having an effect on Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yes, the young chap who was introduced, getting goals,
Gonzalo Garcia.
is doing well, but
Still, we've not seen that connection.
that is
between Vini and
a
Mbappe.
problem. That is a problem. And before they were, I'm told that they've gone to vacation. They've gone on vacation, and Florentino Perez has cautioned them that before they come back, they need to drop their egos. Because for me, Kylian Mbappe, Real Madrid is his dream club, and he is there. And there is no way Kylian Mbappe will want, or Real Madrid will decide to let Kylian Mbappe go. It won't happen.
So,
It won't happen. There is a school of thought which says that Vini Jr. should just make way and then go to the Saudi Arabia League, cash in, and then leave Real Madrid. But of course, Vini
sees himself
has
to
also
be the
held
poster
he has
boy.
held Real Madrid for a long time. But see, trust Don Perez. He's done it before.
Yeah.
He's managed Galacticos. You and I know Raul, Zinedine Zidane, Roberto Carlos.
came in.
They were all there. He has been able to manage them. So these guys, for me, I think they are not even up to the level of the Galacticos yet. And so they should be managed. But my problem I have with the style of play of Xabi Alonso now is, you see, you are playing a formation where in the middle, you don't have a player in the profile of Florian Wirtz when you were in Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes.
You can clearly tell that in Bayer Leverkusen, he was the main man in that Alonso system.
Yeah, the creator in the midfield.
Exactly. But who is doing the job in Real Madrid now? Tell me. Who?
Can we
Jude Bellingham, Valverde, or Tchouameni?
Even against Paris Saint-Germain, they had to pull Valverde to the right.
Absolutely. And so clearly, you need a player in that profile. Unfortunately, the man who can give you that numbers, aging-wise, is not on his side. Luka Modric, when he came in against Real Madrid, you could clearly see that yes, he was controlling the game. But you don't have such profile.
Modric will be leaving them in August.
Yes, and so you definitely have to go back to the market and get a player who fit into that profile.
Don Perez to say that these are arsenals that he has now. He's not ready to buy again.
You see, if Don says that, I understand him, because if you have a player like Mbappe, Arda Güler, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Tchouameni, all these players, they can do it. They've done it before.
He said, Don Perez said, I got you Trent. So treat me well.
Absolutely.
Got you Trent.
So treat me well. I like that, but you see, even with the Trent story, for me, if I want to look at the game proper, I don't understand why Trent did not feature in the game against Paris Saint-Germain.
Per report, they are saying there was a muscle injury.
If there is an injury, then of course then we can pardon him.
But people too can say he was running from
But we saw him on the field of play warming up. So if there is an injury, then why was he doing that?
Maybe Trent was running from Kvaratskhelia. That guy is a tormentor.
You see, because clearly their game before the Paris Saint-Germain game, Trent contributed a lot.
Yes.
A lot on the right hand side, and you could clearly see that at some point we didn't even feel we didn't miss the services of Rodrigo on the right, because he could do the runs, cut in, send the cross, and then for the young chap to just bury the ball. But in the game against Paris, there was none like that. Nobody was doing that job, and they were clearly lacking. And so for me, Jonah, if Xabi Alonso really wants to get the best out of this Real Madrid team, I think that going forward, he needs to find a balance between the two, and especially Rodrigo. I've heard the conversation that Rodrigo needs to fight for his position and all that, and there are also some people who are saying he needs to leave. But I think that Rodrigo played an integral part of the Real Madrid team prior to Alonso arriving, and so he needs to find a balance. And Vinicius Jr. in their quarter-final game, he did a lot of runs, and for the first time in my life, I saw Vinicius Jr. track back to defend and then go back to attacking.
Against Dortmund.
Yes. And that is something that I think that if Vinicius will continue like that, it will really help the Real Madrid team. But can we say the same of Kylian Mbappe?
That's the big question. You see, our fans listening to the show, you can join us live on Facebook, ZFMGH, and also bringing your thoughts on 0544-321-019. So the question goes out there too. Kylian Mbappe, is he immune to pressing? Or what the coach says he has to listen? Because there's that school of thoughts that people are saying for a striker to give you 35 goals plus, for a striker to give you all these numbers, you still expect him to press. From my point of view, if you're a player, you're not bigger than the team. You're not bigger than any of your teammates. You're not bigger than even the coach. So if there's a new coach and a new era, and the coach system actually demands the forward liners to press, what's your excuse by saying I'm Kylian Mbappe, the prince from France, and now I'm in Madrid? You're not in Paris Saint-Germain. Over there, they left you. But here, the coach and even Don Perez cannot leave you for you to go. So it is either you comply. This is non-negotiable to me. If I'm in the shoes of Kylian Mbappe today, I'll start to learn how to press. And one thing football will do to you is that it was expected of him at Paris Saint-Germain. He didn't. But today...
And now it's expected of you again.
Where you want to be the king. Because in your first season, they actually went trophyless.
Yes.
And there's a new manager. And from what the manager is doing, we've seen Kylian Mbappe losing the ball deep field and still stand there for other players to rather run. With him still standing there. So people are talking that, do you think Kylian Mbappe will be that obedient guy, listen to his gaffer, Xabi Alonso, to track back or even help their system? Because clearly with Xabi Alonso's system, that 3-4-3 system with what we saw from Bayer Leverkusen, even Jeremy Frimpong was stripped as a forward. Meanwhile, on the tactical board, he was the right back. What it tells is that he runs forward and still runs back. That's the heart of Jeremy Frimpong. Ask yourself that question. In this Real Madrid team, do you think Carvajal will be doing that runs or even Trent will be doing that runs? So with a 3-4-3, they need ball-playing centre-backs from what we saw Edmond Tapsoba do for Xabi Alonso. With the absence of Dean Huijsen, fine signing from Bournemouth, he came in ball with De La Fuente in the national team, prove his worth. Real Madrid in their route to the semi-final prove his worth, but they were missing that guy in the semi-final. We all saw Rudiger, errors leading to goal. Raul Asensio, rating 5.4, bad of him having a bad
very
tournament.
rusty.
These are the two guys. And then Militao came from injury. He came into the final part of the game to play an integral role, but they were not able to get that goal.
Of course, the hammer was already
Do you
done.
think all these players need a new orientation? Because to me, Madrid still lacks some profiles to implement Xabi Alonso ball.
Absolutely, Jonah. You hit the nail right on the head. And I think that the job, the main responsibility lies on the head of Xabi Alonso. Because, you see, yes, once again, I'm not holding brief for Lamine Yamal. But Lamine Yamal in the Barcelona team, off the ball, he's terrible.
Yes, off the ball, he's even in the Spanish national team.
Off the ball, he's terrible.
Yeah.
But once he gets the ball,
He does something.
he does something. And so it's the ability for the coach, or it's the onus is on the coach to decide, okay, you will get the job done. Regardless, make sure you don't cross the center line.
Yeah.
Be there. Let the other guys do the running for you. And at the end of the day, we know you will get the job done.
You think Jude Bellingham is willing to do that?
Of course, at this point, you need to play according to the coach's instruction, because there are a pool of players there who can substitute you any day, anytime.
Yeah.
When you look at the Real Madrid bench, there are players who on any day can come in and deliver. And so for me, it has to take Xabi Alonso to tell Kylian Mbappe, I want you to press. I want you to, when you lose the ball, I want you to tag. I want you to do a lot of running. Or either you tell him that, yes, you are the poster boy. Even before I came to Real Madrid, when Real Madrid were struggling under Carlo Ancelotti in the last season, you were able to get us the figures. He got you double figures. And so clearly he can do the job. And so if Vinny Jr., Jude Bellingham, and the rest will do the running for Kylian Mbappe to get the job done. Of course, let's not take anything away from Kylian Mbappe. Once he gets the ball, he's dangerous. He can get the job done.
Yes.
We've seen him do that in the French national team. Didier Deschamps knows that Kylian Mbappe, keep him on the left side of attack. Just give him the ball. He will do the run and then convert.
But you see, that Deschamps side had a certain Kante Pogba working for him.
That is why. So you can convert the same Kante. You can get the profile. Listen, we can get Kante in the profile of Tchouameni. You can get a Kante in Tchouameni.
Tchouameni is not happy with you this morning.
Oh no,
you
no,
want him to be working like Kante.
No. But come on, man. We are talking about Kante here. This is a big player. Tchouameni will want to be in the shoes of Kante any day.
Tchouameni is trying to tell her that he can't. He's tired.
No, any day he needs to work. And so you need to get players who can work, who can do that job for Kylian Mbappe to get a job. Otherwise, you have to go in to the transfer market and get players who have the profile. I mentioned somebody like Florent Wirtz. Yeah. He was. You mentioned Tapsoba.
Yeah.
All these players on the day
knew how to track back and still go for the
absolutely. And then the Bayer Leverkusen team that went Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah.
They do all the running up front and do all the running back.
That's true.
But we can't say the same of the Real Madrid. Because of course you have the big stars up front. You expect them to be running.
Mini Galacticos.
Mini Galacticos. They won't be happy with you.
Oh, but these guys are mini Galacticos.
Will
you compare Bellingham to Kaka?
Of course.
Is there anybody in this current team who even looks like Zidane?
Of course not. But these days the price tag alone.
So with the price tag, you Galacticos. This is Real Madrid now.
So for me, Joda, the big job is on Xabi Alonso. If he really wants to get the job out of this Real Madrid, but he needs to know what he's about. Because for me, Vini Jr. in their game against Dortmund, when he was doing all the runs, I was super proud of Vini Jr. because for once off the ball, we could see that he was also part of the team.
Working.
Exactly, he was working assiduously. But let's look at the game against Dortmund again. When Mbappe came from the bench, before Mbappe, you could see the young chap,
Gonzalo
was doing a lot of pressing. He was doing a lot of pressing and they kept the momentum. But when Kylian Mbappe was substituted and came on, you could see that the up front, they were not pressing anymore.
Became a bit timid.
Exactly. And so for me, the big question is, which one will you prefer? Will you prefer the young chap who will listen to your instruction and get the job done? Or you will prefer that Kylian Mbappe who feels like he's already a Galactico, and so when he's coming on, when he taking instructions is a major problem to him. Are you looking at that? And clearly, the big job or the big role, the onus is on Xabi Alonso to get the job done.
Xabi Alonso to get the job done there from Nana Yao Osai. Insightful analysis about Real Madrid. I know Madrid fans are meeting up in the forefront of Z just to give him a handshake that day. He actually said whatever that they want to say to Xabi Alonso. So it won't be easy for Real Madrid to be the Real Madrid that we saw, but my advice is that you should never compare this Real Madrid to the past Real Madrid, because past Real Madrid, Bale knew his role, Benzema upon everything knew his role, and they all understood the assignments that they can never outdo Cristiano Ronaldo. No matter the bicycle kicks, Ronaldo was the poster boy. But these are young stars, they are not matured. This Mbappe is yet to even get to the podium to win the Ballon d'Or. It's his wildest dream. Vinicius Jr. last season was closer, and then he posted, I'll do it 10 times. Unfortunately, I guess this is 10 minus 0 there. He's just doing nothing in this season. They still have that thing in them. They want to get the individual awards. So in terms of cohesion, Ancelotti actually sat down with the kids, and still the kids said, no, you are grandpa, go to Brazil. And now there's a young manager, Xabi Alonso. Let's see what will be happening. But I have with me Larry in the studio. Larry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Larry, I like your Liverpool jersey. Clearly, this one was sent to you by Steve Gerrard, right?
Yeah, this was specially sent, and it was an oldie jersey
from Steve Gerrard.
Yes. I mean, I reached out to him, Charlie.
Clearly,
I needed this, and I got this.
Your voice is bit down when being a Liverpool fan. Now, condolences once again.
It's been a tough period. I mean, I was talking to someone, and I told the person, we do not actually realize how close we've come to these guys.
Absolutely.
Until something like this happens.
Sure.
See, the day I heard the news, I was at work, I was devastated. I couldn't do anything. Unfortunately, the following day was a holiday.
Yeah.
So
it
was a holiday. So it didn't even help.
Yeah.
Because we were home and at least work, you got distracted. But the following day holiday, He had all the time. And I was on phone with somebody and I was like, see, I'm just going through this and I'm reading all the tributes. I'm like, wow.
It finally dawns on you that, yeah, it's real. It's true. But there's one thing Liverpool has done that I'm super proud of. I understand they've retired at number 20.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Jersey, and I think it's a step in the right
Across
direction.
Across all footballing.
Absolutely.
So this was the statement from the club Twitter handle.
Okay.
Liverpool Football Club will retire the 20 jersey across all levels of the club, from the juvenile side to the women's side to the male side,
That's
in
a
memory
step.
of Diego
That's a legend
Jota.
right
He will
there.
forever remain
Forever
their
number 20.
Hopefully, he'll be banging in goals there in the cemetery.
That's
This guy.
that's
Because
how they like
he was one of their
that.
lethal striker.
No, Jota
was-
is our striker.
He knew how to
In
get the job
Ancelot's first season, if Jota is fit, there is no way Luis Diaz starts. There's no way Darwin Núñez starts.
Hey,
So
you
that's how
mentioned- So Darwin
devastating.
Núñez is still your player.
He's still a Liverpool
Yeah, he's still
player.
around.
I thought you people are shaking.
Right now, the transfer dynamics are crazy. I'm sure we'll get there, but right now the transfer dynamics at
to
Liverpool
me,
are
I
crazy
think
now.
with the story surrounding Liverpool, they have to get this message from Z today. They need a psychologist. They need someone to psych Van Dijk and Slot, Robert, all the squad, even their staff people who work there. Because if you're talking about Diego Jota, he impacted only not Liverpool, but even clubs across Europe.
I understand.
Porto, Wolves.
yeah.
You look at João Cancelo's demeanor in that Hilal game versus Fluminense. You look at Ruben Neves, and clearly the football world, we need a psychologist.
Absolutely, and I think they have the men to do the job. And I see. I'm not saying the timing is right. Forgive me. I'm not saying the timing is right, but that you see, it is good that it happened off season.
Yes,
If this
somehow
had happened, maybe
during the season,
it would have been a
blow to the
devastating
club.
blow to the club. However, I think that it will still impact
Yeah, they
the
have to
players a
fight
lot.
through the
Exactly.
pain.
So, like my mom mentioned, that they have the men to definitely get the job done, so that before the season starts, they'll be in the right shape and the frame of mind to get the job done for Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, just to finish up on this, I don't even know how our season is going to be. Right now, it's so difficult to predict.
Because someone told me, so Manchester won't feel pity for this Liverpool side. They'll still thumb them. If they
I
meet.
mean, that is the harsh reality of the world. Absolutely. The world continues, right? And the boys, I mean, they were asked.
They will have to fight through the pain.
Good. They were asked, do they want to return for preseason early, or they said, let's come. And what the club has decided to do is there is no camera inside. Normally, you know, when players return
their
Melwood,
cameras, yeah.
training, no cameras inside the training pitches, no cameras inside where the players meet. Because I feel, one, the team psychologist needs to start revving up the players. There are new boys that have come in, and they've come in a devastating season. Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kekes. I'm wondering how the dynamics will be, because the team is grieving.
Yeah.
And you've come in as a new chap.
Absolutely,
How
yeah.
did they transition you
Sure.
to the group dynamics? So they need to be able to do some fun things behind the
Sure.
scenes
Behind the
to move the boys, and they cannot put that on camera. Because I mean, you know how the world is. They'll come attacking
sure,
them. You
sure.
should be mourning and all of that. So I mean, no cameras. I think it will continue for. I won't even be surprised that there will be no cameras.
The
For the
dressing
rest of the
room,
season,
yes,
or even
yes.
for the first half of the season,
For the
they'll
sanity
ban
of the
cameras.
players.
Exactly. Let them. If they step out on the pitch, they would mourn, they will play, but when they go back in and they need to celebrate their wins, they should do it modestly.
Yeah, maybe
they
Konate wants to jam some French music, and then people will be.
People will come
bad
for them.
rep-
Look at what happened to Luis Diaz.
Yes.
On the day of the funeral, clearly, you know, players were on vacation. Salah was
Even
all the way in
Alisson said
Africa.
he was behind the scenes somewhere in
Alisson
Brazil.
and if you read his tribute, it was like, again, unfortunately, I did not get the opportunity to see of somebody close to me.
Yeah.
Because he was very close to Jota. His dad passed. He was also at Liverpool. He could not go for the funeral. But the following weekend at the church's mass, Alisson and Diaz were there. And Diaz, for once, came for a lot of public attack, because on the day of the funeral, footages came out that he was at a show
certain
with
party
some
with some
influencers in
influencers.
Colombia. And I mean,
He didn't know this will happen.
people, Liverpool, let's chill. Funny enough, sometimes it's not even coming from Liverpool fans, it's coming from the football world at large, because they
Against
feel
supporters union.
exactly, they feel this. And funny enough, do you know what happened? That news was broken by a Barcelona pro Yes,
because the whole link to
exactly.
Barcelona,
and people are saying that they are trying to do this to make the Liverpool fans
push
go against-
Luis Diaz out of
exactly
the club.
because it looks like the dynamics of Diaz. I don't think Diaz will stay. For me, he should be sold with the way things are going and how he's.
You think he
talking
should
to
be
the
sold?
media. Yes,
But then before
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
The team, the transfer dynamics has to change for Liverpool because Diaz wants to go. I'm sure we'll talk transfer. Diaz wants to go. Darwin Núñez likely wants to go.
But there's no Jota.
Even Konate now wants to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is no Jota. That's it. So you need to
keep Diaz.
We need to at least keep one of these two. I have a feeling Núñez will stay because Napoli does not want to meet the matchup price, but Diaz is actually hitting the door to want to leave. And when players start to do that, let them go. It's simple. But for the club, we will survive. Liverpool is a town where
Of course, you will.
survived a
And
lot
don't
of
worry, you
strategies.
will never walk alone.
We will do well.
You never walk alone.
Right now, I cannot predict whether we win the Premier League again back to back, but we will do well.
Yeah, you never walk alone. Rest easy, Diogo and then Andre, two brothers who left the football world there. But we have Larry in here. We have to, see a sight on the Club World Cup final, the big game. We heard from the big game. But before we go into that, so PSGs are formidable favorites. Europe's elites are chasing a historic after winning their treble, clinching the Champions League. They are now on their way to a sextuple, and they've conceded just one goal in 8 games this tournament, including a crushing victory over Real Madrid in the semi-final. They conceded one goal by the Brazilians Botafogo, Renato Paiva. So the team manager Luis Enrique underscores that their success stems from cohesion, shared work ethic, just not individual talent. Their key threats, the midfield dynamism from Vitinha. He's the only player to have more touches than any other player, more than goalkeepers, more than strikers, and that's the midfield dynamo Vitinha. Fabian Ruiz, fullbacks of Mendes and Achraf Hakimi. Ousmane Dembele, people are not calling him Dembele, but Mr. Ballon d'Or. They're saying that he's making a big claim there up front. And Kivishka Kvaratskhelia noted as a major attacking threat, the only forward who tracks back for you to forget he's a forward. He now turns to a lateral, do the dirty work like the prime Cafu, but still cause threats up front, and that's Kvaratskhelia from Napoli. So Chelsea, people are not just calling them underdogs, but also tactical underdogs. Why? Chelsea reached the final win via Benfica, Palmeiras, Fluminense bouncing back from an early loss to Flamengo. Enzo Maresca's approach as he's treating the match as a chess game, refusing to sit deep and trusting his 3-2-5 system. So built on youth and data-driven recruitment and tactical fluidity. Key players to watch in that final will be João Pedro, who scored a stunning brace in the semi-final. Moises Caicedo, now fully fit and hailed by Jean-Michel Obi as the best player who will only make the Paris Saint-Germain lineup. It's very sad from a Chelsea legend, though, that there's only one player from the Chelsea side who will make the Paris Saint-Germain team. Caicedo will be taking off João Neves there. But the midfield duo of Enzo Fernandez and then Moises Caicedo will be there. So the tactical matchup and insights as PSG have been relentless. Their press and defensive solidity, Chelsea's structured build-up and youth-led energy. Larry, what are we to expect from these two clubs checking their tangent? We've seen PSG going on the demolition spree, just beating giants in Europe. So far in their run to conquer Europe, they were able to beat 4 clubs in England. Arsenal took their share, and then Unai Emery's Aston Villa took their share. Liverpool, your darling club, also were beaten by this side on penalties there. And also Manchester City in the group stages. Arsenal there, but now they have one of the prides of London. Respect to Arsenal and then Tottenham. If I say the pride of London, Arsenal fans might get angry. So I say one of the pride of London.
Well said.
One of the pride of London, and that's Chelsea. Blue is the colour bar. What do you think Chelsea will have to do to still remain football as the game and not a demolition exercise for Paris Saint-Germain?
See, we do not want a repeat of the Real Madrid semi-final. We do not want a repeat of the Inter Milan final. Chelsea needs to come out and show up for the game. Prior to the Club World Cup, we were here, we did predictions, and I said, I saw PSG or Real Madrid winning this. So when the matchup came up and then both of them were in the semi-finals, I just told people, I see the winner being one of these two teams.
Wow.
I still stand by that.
So why don't you take the other side of the draw?
Or
do you think there are no better clubs from there?
No, so Well, that was how the structure came. I just give my predictions when we're going into the Club World Cup. I mean, then later on I realized that both
Chelsea,
sides are on the
City
same
are on the
side.
other
So
side.
I was like, okay, then looks like definitely one of them will get to the final and clinch it. Chelsea have been exciting in the Club World Cup. Let's not take it up. See, as an English fan, I don't really have some form of rivalry against Chelsea. I don't also like them too. They are too noisy for me sometimes. But I like how they've showed up in the Club World Cup. And this is good pre-season for them. Because I think after this, they'll go on a break and then they'll just come back for the season. If you look at the team, I still try to wrap my head around the Chelsea squad. Because there seem to be quite a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see Maresca trying something new. And it's funny because pre-game, I have some Chelsea fans that I follow, and then my ex or Twitter TL, you see them start shouting, Maresca, what is this lineup?
Yeah.
Maresca,
It looks like every day there's a new player for
my
Chelsea.
goodness. I think the last game he played his typical 4-2-3-1, but when they have the ball, it was a 3-1, 2-3-1 formation that he was playing. He actually was playing a 3-back with Ugo, what's his name? Ugo just Marshallin just in front of the three.
So
And-
just as you're making your submission, this is the lineup to help our listeners know that Chelsea now changes it. And now people are saying that Nkuku is here actually the darling boy who is getting the nod. Malo Gusto right back, and then Trevor Chalobah, Tosin Adarabioyo, and then Chalobah making the back four. This is where the question comes in, because Tosin Adarabioyo against Dembele, Chalobah. Okay, let me continue. Mark Cucurella as the left-footed back there. Robert Sanchez in goal post, Caicedo midfield, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer, Pedro Neto, and then João Pedro Nkuku on the far left. So Nicholas Jackson on the bench, Noni Madueke, who is on his way out of the club to join the Red and Whites. That's Arsenal. Reece James, Andre Santos, and then Kenan Hall also joined the party. So this was their lineup in that semi-final game against Fluminense.
And they came out. I liked how Chelsea approached that game. They did not give the Fluminense team enough space to settle into the game.
Yeah.
Right from the blow of the whistle, Chelsea were all over them. And you could clearly see the difference in quality on the pitch. And I mean, Cole Palmer was his usual self. Nkuku just blistering form.
Yeah.
And that guy, João Pedro. See, I am a personal fan of João Pedro.
Since when?
But since his Brighton days.
Brighton.
Since his Brighton days. Personally, I even wanted him for Liverpool, but for his injury record. And I feel Liverpool would have gone for him even last season, if not for his injury record. His injury record is that bad, and it scares teams, right? But for Chelsea, it fits perfectly.
They took account gamble.
Yes, because I feel Chelsea has a larger squad. I think they have the largest squad of the top 6 or
9
top 8.
forwards. Mark
Exactly.
Gui, João Felix is still their player, whether they like it or not.
Magui, he needs to go and find a team to go. He's not going to get a say in this
Liverpool
team.
won't you?
Somebody like João Pedro, I think before the season ends, he's going to find a team, loan and move. I think their starting strike is literally going to be
Neto.
João Pedro, and then
Delap.
Nkunku.
Hey, Chelsea
Delap.
has a certain squad. You might mention them for
Exactly.
key players. So.
Exactly. Because
So if
even
we
if
say
I'm
Delap,
taking,
what about Nicolas Jackson?
I've forgotten about the lap
Our
because
Senegalese striker.
you bought the lap, you have Nicolas Jackson, now you have João Pedro, and all of these players can play the number 9 position.
Nkuku.
Exactly. The beauty about it is João Pedro can play behind a striker.
Yes.
As a second striker in the 10th position. So see, they have a very large squad, and I feel Chelsea will do something special next season. I see them winning one of the domestic trophies, not the Premier League, but I actually see them winning a trophy next season. It could even be going as far as they can in the Champions League. I don't think they can win it, but I see them being able to go that far. That is because of the team depth they have.
To the final.
And see, they lost Caicedo in the previous game, but you did not even realize that. They bristled through the Fluminense team. But for Fluminense and Estavio is also coming, and he's a star boy. And when he comes, he would likely like to play.
He's also joining Chelsea.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So can't Chelsea
He
just
would likely
loan
like
some
to play.
forwards for Manchester
See,
United?
You guys are not going to them.
Why would you miss such
After
a
all,
assessment?
after all, they are shipping players to
Why would you miss such a
Arsenal,
assessment?
and you guys are
So
there.
let
Are
me
not
bring
going
my
for
Manchester
players.
United fan.
The last time I checked, they gave us a player in the name of Mason Mount. What happened to him?
Mount.
What happened to him?
No, I feel Mount's move was wrong because I mean
United didn't see
that
it as
United
wrong,
style
though.
did not fit Mount. I didn't see where he was going to play for United. Up to today, I did not wrap my head around that transfer.
So,
I don't know what excited Mount to even decide
My
to go there.
Tottenham Hotspur friend told me last night that Daniel Levy and then Thomas Frank were able to get Mohamed Kudus within some 24 hours. They are battling Morgan Gibbs White. They are, making permanent moves. But Manchester United are still battling.
Are
with
still negotiating for
one Cameroonian LeBron
Brian
James.
Mbeumo.
You call him Cameroonian LeBron
LeBron
James.
James. Oh my goodness. So I mean, see, just to wrap up on this game,
Yeah.
PSG are the favorites.
Wow.
They are going to lose Pacho at the back there, but Beraldo is a fantastic option to come
he
in
fits
there.
in well against
Fits
Madrid.
in seamlessly. The engine of that PSG team is that midfield. Vitina, Fabian Ruiz, Neves. Look at the semi-final game.
Yeah.
Fabian Ruiz was the man of the match.
Yeah.
Not even the Dembele or Kvaratskhelia or Goncalo Ramos that we would normally talk about, the Bacola, the Doué. It was Fabian Ruiz. That midfield three, any of them, see, when they come in a game, they are giving their 80%. And sometimes you get one of them going above board to give you 100% performance. What Chelsea need to do to even get a win, because this is a final, you don't even need a result. You need a win. What Chelsea can do to stop this PSG team is to prevent them from their press. When PSG, watch them in the past, go and watch the past previous games. Right now, when they are even kicking off, they kick off and they pass the ball to the opponent.
Yeah, they will
because
kick
they
it
want to come
the
and
air,
press
keep
you in your.
showing them.
So immediately, then they just kick it off and now they start their press. Chelsea needs to start exploiting that press within the very first 20 minutes of the game and unsettle that team. So that immediately that happens, you realize that the team starts, okay, let's back off on our press. This way, then Chelsea can start to have a dominating effect. And they can do this in Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo. They can move around that press. They can beat that press. Because these are players who are press-resistant players. Yeah. Caicedo does not lose the ball under a press. Enzo Fernandez does not lose the ball under a press. But for that Chelsea defense, I'm sorry, it scares me. I don't think they can face this PSG front line. That is it. Dembele, whoever he's coming up against, whether it's Adarabi or whether Reece James he's going to have his day. Kvaratskhelia will run circles in that defense.
They said Doué,
Goncalo Ramos will have a field day in that centre-back pairing. Unfortunately, Chelsea do not have a Courtois in goal. Robert Sanchez is a good goalkeeper, brilliant, but even his starting place is under threat.
Yes.
Because Chelsea up to now, Maresca is still trying to figure out who he should keep as his number one. So what Chelsea needs to do is to be able to beat that press of the PSG team.
And
how Maresca is able to do that, I really do not know. But I feel it would be dependent on Enzo and Caicedo being top notch. But if you ask me, PSG will have so much for them, they cannot face that PSG team for more than 90 minutes.
Wow.
I think PSG will do this in 90 minutes. Wow. I don't see it going into the extra time.
Sure. So, that thoughts on the final game from Larry Weber. Nana, this isn't just a final, it's a clash of philosophies, PSG's high-octane unit against Chelsea's meticulously plotted youth-driven system there. Will Maresca actually outsmart Luis Enrique? Do you think football will allow that? Because we all know Luis Enrique to be a football lunatic. I'm saying this in a positive way, that he's one man who knows how to get goals in knockout games. We saw his MNS era. They won't joke with you. We know how he plays in triangles, Dembele dropping deep to help the Serie format. And then shadowly, you see Fabian Ruiz as the player in the 18-yard box. That's why he scored against Arsenal. He scored against ATM. He also scored against Real Madrid. Against Chelsea, if you look at their back line, these are guys in terms of communication from their UEFA Champions League qualification performance where they earned a top 4 spot in England. They've changed the back line so many times. Malo Gusto today, Reece James tomorrow, Chaluba playing as a right back today in their previous game against Fluminense. He's the centre back with Adarabioyo. When Adarabioyo is not around tomorrow, there will be Levi Cowell there as the centre back.
Yeah.
There's Robert Sanchez in the goal post. Tomorrow, Mike Pendes in the goal post. You go come and then you see Philip Georgeson in the goal post. Cucurella has maintained that left-footed back position because there's nobody to kick him out. Do you think this team that changes lineups? Because according to Opta, last season alone, Chelsea changed their lineup over 77 times. Do you think Chelsea can do the job against Paris Saint-Germain in the final?
Yeah. If I was asleep and then you tapped me and then you asked me this question, I would just say no, because it's a straightforward answer. But you see, this is football. Nobody thought that Botafogo would have caused an upset
Against PSG.
in the Paris Saint-Germain team. Clearly, okay, there are people who have argued that
The lineup.
but you see, I say that with Luis Enrique, even if you come from the bench, you are still integral part of his team.
Yeah.
You see, sorry, with Enzo Maresca coming up against Luis Enrique, clearly Luis Enrique is a big weight when it comes to the coaching fraternity, and so definitely that is going to be more like a master up there.
This is amateur coming up.
Exactly, but like I mentioned, this is football.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But you see, if you have watched this Chelsea team in the Club World Cup, yes, they may have varied most of their players,
Yes.
but the team against Fluminense, if you ask me, Enzo Maresca should maintain that team, because the cohesion between their back four
Was there?
it was solid.
Okay.
And going into a game where the front lines of Paris Saint-Germain will be coming all guns blazing, you need a back four that have that understanding. Because if you falter just a little bit, it will cost you.
Yeah.
We also what happened to Asensio and then that of
Rudiger.
Rudiger, because they will come pressing.
Dembele.
And so you need players who are confident on the ball at the back.
To resist the press.
Exactly. And one thing I saw with the Botafogo team was the fact they had a compact defense.
Yeah.
Because PSG did a lot of touches in their box.
Yeah, 32 touches.
Exactly. But however, they were able to keep them man market, close market.
Yeah.
And so Chelsea will have to employ that tactics if they really want to get the best out of it. If they want to go out, open and play, it will be a disaster.
Hey, see, Inter open up.
It will be a disaster.
Madrid open up,
Exactly,
nowhere.
because they came up against an Inter defense solid. Proud to the final, they were solid.
DeMarco Denton.
But we all saw what they did to them. Because trust Kvaratskhelia, trust Dembele, trust Bakola, and then trust the Ceredo on any day to cause you mayhem. And so for me, yes, Sanchez in the post, he has his lapses. But if on the day, the back four of Chelsea, they are able to stay compact, we are definitely going to see a game. We are going to see a limited amount of goals. Yes, the goals will come, but it's going to be limited. I think it's not going to, it's not going to
You're
be.
not going to see that goal galore.
No,
we saw it
it's
against
going to
Inter.
be limited. But see, one thing about Chelsea that we shouldn't forget is they have the temperament for finals. They do.
And people are even saying in all their
they-
3 finals, they were underdogs.
Yes, they do.
2012,
Yes, they have a big
2021.
temperament for finals. And so you can't write them off just like that.
Against the reigning champions. of
Against
Europe.
the you can't write them off just like that. Yes, PFG, they still have the goodwill of the people, the aura, everything around the team is working perfectly for them. They play under no stress and all that. But you see, you are coming up against a Chelsea side, which I said, these boys on any day can cause any harm. But if you ask me, like I said, Jonah, it is definitely going to be a win for Paris Saint-Germain. The only thing Chelsea will have to do is that they have to make sure they don't concede more. They don't concede, so that the final doesn't become a one-way route like we saw in the Inter Milan and that of even
Real Madrid.
the Real Madrid team. So Chelsea, trust me, they will put up their A game, but Paris Saint-Germain will definitely give them a good run for their money in this game.
Yeah, for the benefits of our listeners, they'll be giving you their road to the final as Chelsea were Group V, second place after winning against LAFC. So this is what brings the question. People are saying Chelsea are yet to face a better side. Last season they played,
Absolutely, I agree. Because if you watch their route to the final. Enzo Maresca argued that the Brazilian clubs, they have energy, they exerted a lot of energy, but this is going to be the true test.
Yeah, the true test.
Because Paris Saint-Germain, they came up against Bayern Munich.
Yes.
They played Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. These are big guys in Europe, right?
Yes.
So if
this is actually the true test.
This is going to be the true test, but unfortunately, this is going to be a test where you wish you had never taken.
So let me give you the roundup as they won 2-0 against LAFC from the Major League Soccer. Goal scored by Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernandez. Lost 3-1 against Flamengo, the Brazilian side. And then they won 3-0 against our African friends here, Esperance Sportive de Tunis. So this was their group stage.
Of course.
Two wins, 1 loss, goal difference of 6 and then 3. And then Group B, first place team was Atletico de Madrid. They won 4-0 against Paris Saint-Germain, won 4-0 against Atletico de Madrid. Lost 1-0 against Botafogo. And then they beat Seattle Sounders from MLS also by 2-0 as they were the leaders in that group. So the knockout round, Chelsea beat Benfica 4-1. The game that people said that it was one of the longest game in football history without pause and then coming back to play extra time. Whilst in the same round of 16, PSG also demolished Lionel Messi and Javier Mascherano's Inter Miami by 4-0. In the quarter final, Chelsea beat Palmeiras by, an own goal from Palmeiras because it was a 1-1 draw game before that own goal that saw Palmeiras out of the competition. During that time, PSG were, fighting against Bayern, where they were beating Bayern Munich in the game. Against Manuel Neuer and Vincent Kompany, they played so well, but unfortunately for them, they had to, exit the competition. Whilst Chelsea were beating Fluminense 2-0 to qualify to the final. In the semi-final, Paris Saint-Germain were testing their guns against Real Madrid. So this is the road to the final. So that's it. And the key takeaways will be the defensive solidity of PSG, conceding just a long goal against Botafogo, whilst having a strong finish. Chelsea averaging 2.7 goals per game. So Chelsea also have, a very efficient attack. They have scored at least 2 goals per game. And if you are talking about efficient attack, Paris Saint-Germain 16 goals in barely 8 games. Clearly, they have more efficient attack. 4 against Bayern. 2 against Bayern, 4 against Atletico de Madrid, 4 against Real Madrid. Look at that. It's like they are sharing some. They believe in 4. I don't know why. Big clubs in Europe, when they are on form, Hansi Flick, Barcelona was just stamping Madrid 4-4-4. PSG too has been giving 4-4-4. The 4 looks like something. Auto 4. So that will be the big game. You can still bring in your suggestion, your prediction. If you're a Paris Saint-Germain fan out there, you know what to do. And so if you support Chelsea, you know what to do. It's still 0544 32101. Now you can catch us live on Facebook, ZFMGH, and live on YouTube, ZFMGH. I have in me in the studio 2 panelists, hot sports insiders, Nana Yao Osai, and then Larry Lawrence Danso. They are only Liverpool fan that we have here. I know I'll be giving him some money to send it to the Liverpool fan to support Diego Jota's family. He's the way Larry is just giggling. Probably he'll eat my money. I don't know. I won't do that. No. I'll be looking into some transfer stories here. Please don't forget to drop your predictions there. So now transfers, football clubs are getting ready for new challenges. Players are sweeping their carpets. Players are moving on. And by the name of our transfers, the first player we are going to talk about before we move into some top one is Mohamed Kudus, the push star boy. He said, I only wanted Spurs. There was Chelsea on the line, and maybe people are saying that he's just running from Enzo Maresca's tactical masterclass, because Enzo Maresca can bench you for like 3 games and tell you that he's just doing rotation. He didn't want to join that pool of over 10 players as forward. Estevao is yet to join with Kudus in there. He wanted to be, very, very relevant elsewhere. And that will be in Tottenham Hotspur. In his first game, he'll be facing off against Paris Saint-Germain. Ghanaians believe that Nuno Mendes is good until he faces a Ghanaian. And people are saying that even the first European country to enter Ghana was a Portuguese. So when they came to Ghana, they saw we Ghanaians and they saw that these people are very good at that. So people are saying Nuno Mendes being a Portuguese, he's good until he meets a Ghanaian brother. And that will be in the UEFA Super Cup. he was struggling with West Ham under Graham Potter after his grandpa David Moyes left, but thankfully, good deal. Kudus is now a Tottenham Hotspur player. Lawrence, starting from you, Larry, do you think this thing will help our player? He said something that he's ready to compete in the biggest stages. He'll be having the UEFA Champions League football. Do you think it was a step in the right direction for Kudus to go to Tottenham Hotspurs?
My star boy is where he needs to be.
Wow.
It's as simple as that. See, if you look at, we're here talking about the dynamics of this transfer when it started up. We're looking at Mo Kudus, and then it was between Tottenham and Chelsea. And I mean, I said straightly that both coaches are good for the player. However, if you look at Chelsea's system and Chelsea's team depth, they are stacked for choices.
Sure.
I mean, whether you go on the right, Cole Palmer can play from the right.
Absolutely.
Who did they have? Magui, Neto, João Pedro, they are all there. Estavio is coming. If you go to the left in Cook, Noni Madueke, they were all still there. And for me, I felt if Chelsea was keeping the team they had and Madueke was moving, then that was the open space for Kudus.
Sure.
So I mean, I was like, Chelsea's PR and Chelsea's media game is a bit up there. Their fans more than Tottenham Hotspur. So that was a bigger platform for Kudus. But I mean, if you looked at what Tottenham is doing with Thomas Frank, they're going to play in the Champions League next season.
Sure.
So I mean, obviously the Champions League box was ticked for Kudus.
Yeah.
When he goes there, he's going to start. He's going to play. He's going to have the opportunity to make a stake in the team.
Absolutely.
Of course, they are bringing Morgan Gibbs-White.
Sure.
They are looking to bring more players in, but
with Brendan Johnson and
Brendan Johnson already,
of course, he
Kudus can overtake Brendan Johnson and find somewhere else to play. Whether he's playing on the left, whether he's going to play on the right, whether he's going to play in the 10th position, Kudus definitely has a place in that team.
Sure.
So I'm not surprised. I mean, at the end of the day, his advisors and his team looked at both officers and said, we only want Spurs. And obviously, I mean, after like a week of conversations between Chelsea and Spurs, you later realize it was still Team Spurs. Everybody was prepared Spurs.
Sure.
And on Thursday, my boy sealed the deal. He's the highest transferred player, Ghanaian player in history now. For 53 million.
Solid.
With the mention of that,
solid.
We have to let our listeners know that Mohamed Kudus is now that man.
He's the star boy.
And the only Ghanaian to be sold at that amount. We have other Ghanaians who was able to do it. We'll be giving all the matchups there. So first, it was Ernest Nyama from Molenbeek to Olympique Lyonnais, 28.5 million in 2024. And then there's Michael Essien in 2005. He was sold for 38 million from Olympique Lyonnais to Chelsea. And then there came Mohamed Kudus in 2023, Ajax Amsterdam to West Ham United. He was in there in 2023, 43 million. And then Thomas Partey, our deputy captain for the Black Stars of Ghana, in 2020 moved from Atletico de Madrid to Arsenal, rather. The Gunners, he came in there 5 years with Arteta, but they were able to show us some guns to win some trophies. 50 million euros. Then today, 2025, the record, the most expensive Ghanaian transfers of all time. Mohamed Kudus with add-ons, actually. It is racking up to 63.8 million.
My goodness.
That's Mohamed.
That's some good, sweet money for the boy.
Sure.
I mean, Kudus will make some good money from that transfer fee. Definitely his salary is going to shoot up. So that's some more money for him.
He's going to play in the UEFA Champions.
Yes, he threw the spice of Stone Boy in there with that big rendition of his overlord just for Mo Kudus. I think Tottenham are going to milk that sound and milk it good.
And people are starting to say that Kudus actually traveled the West Ham admin, because we've seen some Kim Paluta sounds on
I mean,
Tottenham Hotspurs TikTok account.
See, to be honest, West Ham's admin did so well with the Kudus content.
People are even saying Kudus is actually the admin,
the
social media handler for West Ham.
I won't be surprised if the social admin is a Ghanaian. I won't be surprised. But probably. But right now, Tottenham actually needs to go to that admin and see.
Get some details.
Yo, dude, give me some tips.
And
then speak to Kudus and say, Kudus, Charlie, who are your boys? Because Kudus content always seems to spiral on the internet.
Absolutely,
It shot West Ham's social media game up there. People loved him anytime they posted him.
Yeah.
He has tricks under his sleeve. Yeah. For him, my advice to him, if you watch his interview, was like he was doing some top 10 quick questions. Yeah. They asked him, they said, who is the player you are looking forward to me? They said Van de Ven. And I laughed. Because you remember the incident he had with Van de Ven last season. That is my advice to him. Kudus, keep your calm. You are my star boy. I mean, you are the star boy of Ghana. Yeah. Be calm. Those temperaments, put it in the right places. Have a good temperament in the game to help your team to win.
It is.
Don't go overboard with disciplinary issues. Thomas Frank, Tottenham Hotspur, good fit for you. He's going to play you. If you go in there and you're not getting games in the early, I feel
he'll play.
I feel he will play even in preseason. He will cement his place.
Because now the deal between Morgan Gibbs White and then Tottenham Hotspur, Nottingham Forest is it has stalled at the moment.
Yes.
It's not going through.
It's not going
some
through
confidentiality issues there.
But
Yves Bissouma has his role already.
Kudus is actually going to go for Brennan Johnson's position on the right.
People are even saying Kudus can play from the left.
He can play from the left.
We all know Son Heung-min is leaving the club.
Literally,
he has lost his agility and stuff, so he's
not going to be starting. Exactly. He's not going to be starting, so he can start from the left.
Sure. So from Mohamed Kudus, just as you said, I really like that Ghanaians will have to get in for their jerseys. Talking about one star for the Black Stars, there's another star making his way to Atalanta Bergamo. That's Kamaldeen Sulemana. People in Ghana, we are still divided. People team him that he has the quality and talent that Kudus in terms of speed and dribbling and other stuff. But we are yet to see the Kamaldeen that we saw when he was winning the Player of the Month for Stade de Rennais. Yeah. Even though there was Leo, Neymar, Mbappe, he won the Player of the Month. Jeremy Doku was under the shadows of Kamaldeen Sulemana at Stade de Rennais before he moved to Southampton. The club record fee didn't live up to the billing as the Saints have gotten relegated. He has gotten another chance rather to be in the Italian Serie A, big club for that matter, a club that will be competing in the Europa League, Atalanta Bergamo, under a disciplinarian Jean-Pierre Gasparini. Nana, do you think that will be a good move for our star boy Kamaldeen and he'll be getting back to his best?
Absolutely. For me, Kamaldeen Sulemana is one chap that, yes, he's full of promise. He has the potential to be a superstar, because any player who goes through the Right to Dream Academy, clearly you know what you're up to. We all saw him Southampton. Even though the team, they were shambolic during the season, he single-handedly clearly proved to us why indeed he's a top player. My only issue with Kamaldeen Sulemana is his finishing. You see, modern day attacker or forward, it's not just about you running the ball and then effecting crosses. Your ability to put the ball at the back of the net will also go a long way to help you. And so if he improves on his finishing, clearly it will do him a lot of good. And the Italian Serie A is a good opportunity for him, because with there you are able to keep the ball like he wants to do. And then
up to the pressure,
exactly
dribble,
like he wants
dazzle
to
for Ghanaians.
Absolutely. And then with Atalanta last season, yes, they were in a devastating form. So clearly he's going to add up to a team
and a good manager too.
Absolutely, an experienced manager at that. And so it's a good mood for the two Ghanaian chaps. I'm happy for Kamaldeen Sulemana, and in the long run it comes back to help with the Black Stars of Ghana, because when we have our players in the top leagues playing week in, week out, and then performing, definitely the returns comes to the Black Stars of Ghana. I saw a post on social media that said that it's better to sit on the bench of Chelsea than to be in the starting lineup of Tottenham Hotspur. And I laughed, and I'm like, no. So why? Is it because Chelsea is big in terms of trophies and all that? But you see, in the Premier League, if you sit on the bench, it affects you. Even everywhere else, it's not just the Premier League. As a player, you need game time. So your ability to get game time would definitely increase your profile. And so him getting into the Tottenham Hotspur team under a coach that indeed he mentioned,
he knows how to manage talent.
Exactly, he said. So you can see that he has that love for the coach. So he will definitely get game time. and then put Ghana on the map out there.
once
So
again.
we shouldn't worry at all.
Okay.
There are those who are saying the Tottenham curse. They've broken the curse now.
They
Yeah,
won a
they
trophy.
have. They have. I mean,
they
they
have.
won a
And I
trophy.
think during the season,
Yeah.
their centre back Christian Romero had a barrel with their manager and then Daniel Levy that they need to buy players so that they
Yeah.
can compete
Yeah.
because their fellows are competing with players.
Yeah.
And to me, Daniel Levy listened to the guy because the
Absolutely.
guy with injury even won them the Europa League.
Yeah.
Although Postecoglou is gone, but Tottenham needs to change their ideology.
Good. And-
Buy and compete.
And for Daniel Levy to cough out 55 million
For
pounds for
Kudus.
you, it tells you that
And now they want Morgan Gibbs White,
exactly
They are buying. They are actually buying.
They are buying.
Dominic
So
Solanke, Richarlison.
Yeah.
Nah.
they are buying.
Tottenham will do on
They are
this.
buying, and the guy has played at the top level in the Champions League. We also saw what he did with Ajax when they came
Yes,
to Anfield.
yes.
And so him coming back to the Champions League, that's where he belongs.
That's true.
So we should be happy
So,
for.
so with that in London, their brothers Arsenal getting closer to the EPL trophy. Not once, not twice. Mikel Arteta's scale of preference clearly seems to be that he doesn't need a striker. As we speak, Mosquera and even this guy, Victor Gyökeres, is not even training with Sporting for the past 2 days because he's trying to force a move. Do you think if Gyökeres becomes available, Arsenal will have a chance to still get the EPO? Because as we speak, Arsenal remain interested in Real Madrid and Brazilian winger Rodrigo from Sports Update here, and despite them closing on a deal to sign Chelsea's Noni Madueke. Do you think Mikel Arteta is also bringing up some squad to battle for the EPL title next season?
Yeah, I think so. And he doesn't have an excuse because last season the excuse was that he had tons of injuries, and so that is why exactly.
Champions League
Exactly. But you see, Arteta this season can't afford to make the same mistake.
No.
Because the Kai Havertz false 9 thing, clearly at some points it wasn't working. And Merino had to come in, be a stopgap, and get you the goals. Yeah. And so if you have an opportunity, I think that Gyökeres thing, it has to do with Arsenal because the guy definitely wants to join Arsenal.
The guy wants to join.
He wants to join us now because I understand that Lisbon, they have started the preseason, but he doesn't want to be there. So the player wants to join the team. And when the player wants to play for you, it's a good sign. So they need to cough out that amount and definitely go in for the player. You've already let Partey go, which is an issue that some of us we don't even understand, because I think that Partey, even if it was 2 seasons at Arsenal, would have definitely brought something to the midfield. Last season we saw Partey when you got the Partey, the real Partey that we know.
needed.
Partey devoid of injuries. You know what Partey can give you.
Yeah.
Now you've cut him loose. And so if you are still going to maintain the fact that you play a false 9, because who is Arsenal's number 9 now? Gabriel Jesus is still around, right?
Yes.
When was the last time Gabriel Jesus?
He's not getting the goals, not even double figures.
Exactly. And you can't continue playing Merino as a false 9.
Won't work.
It's not helping. And so for me, they need to do everything humanly possible to get Gyökeres to Emirates, so that it helps the Gunners.
Okay, Larry, Juventus have also agreed a 20 million euros deal with Manchester United for Jadon Sancho, who is negotiating a severance package with Old Trafford club before any move. Do you think Juventus going in for Jadon Sancho? This guy is one of the guys that people say he needs a conducive environment to compete, and the only conducive environment probably will be Dortmund. But Juventus, the Italian side, another club that had values, core values, that people are asking questions that if you're not able to survive at Manchester United, why do you think you can survive at the Italian club that they are also struggling to, build a system with Igor Tudor? We've seen Kenan Yildiz, who is even on the move to Madrid and other stuff. Do you think Juventus, the Italian side, will be befitting home for Jadon Sancho?
He needs to play. It's as simple as that. He needs to find a team to play. And I think Juventus might be good for him because of, as you said, they are in a form of a team rebuild. So he can go in there. There's not so much of a big expectation on him to get a kick in, because the whole team seems to have to get a kick in. So it's not as if you are coming into a team that's already performing and there's all the limelight on you to fit in and perform. It will be a good environment for him. The Italian league favors players of his technical ability.
Absolutely.
The pace of the game will favor him so well. So I think he is a good match for that Juventus team. My only issue with Jadon Sancho is the media seems to have
The way to
painted,
get into his head.
painted an image of a greedy player, a player who's not disciplined enough. And so, I mean, he needs to go out there and change that narrative that he has out there. Because, I mean, the news out there was Chelsea wanted him, but he was not willing to even cut his wages. And for me, as Jadon Sancho, I think he made the right move to go away from Chelsea. See, if I'm a player and I'm not first choice in that Chelsea team, they are so stacked up for positions.
Train and
Good.
train
So
at Cobham.
exactly, it was good for him to go away. I feel if he had decided to change his attitude a bit, he would have been a good fit for Manchester United still. But clearly, Amorim does not want him anywhere near his team. So him going to PSG, Juventus
will be a good
is a good move for him.
Yeah, so before we wrap up the show here, final question to you guys. We've seen the lightning pressing machine for Paris Saint-Germain and Ousmane Dembele with what he has done so far. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Mohamed Salah, Ousmane Dembele, and these guys. Give me your top 3 Ballon d'Or now. As it stands now, who do you think is the first choice to win the Ballon d'Or? So you do that snappy for me as we are wrapping up the weekend sports rally here.
Yeah. So I'll make it snappy, Jonah. With the Ballon d'Or conversation, I, for one, said that the Club World Cup will be a plus for a player like Ousmane Dembele, and he's done it. He's exhibited. In fact, he's told the world why he deserves to be in the Ballon d'Or. 35 goals across all competitions this season. It clearly tells you that he's in to get a job done. The only thing is that he should, when he seals the Club World Cup, and then he adds to the trophy cabinet that they have, clearly he puts them in an advantage position. It's a tournament season. You see, a tournament season, the conversation sometimes varies.
The recency bias.
Exactly, because people will argue that, Lamine Yamal,
but now he's on vacation.
Exactly, it's a tournament season. So once you are missing in action, let's see. But he's favourite to win the Ballon d'Or, if you ask me, ahead of Lamine Yamal now because of the tournament. And then clearly Lamine Yamal will be in there. And I don't know if I can say this, but Desiree Doué, Chap has proven to us that he needs to be looked at when it comes to the Ballon d'Or conversation, because he did it in the Champions League, and we've seen him replicate same in the Club World Cup.
10, he deserves
absolutely. And my final words is that Chelsea fans, Charlie, lower your hopes. I just say people say Charlie, you cross my
Ghana here in England.
Lower your expectations, yeah. And thanks for having me, Jonah.
Larry.
Yes, my top 3 for the Ballon d'Or. Ousmane Dembele is picking up the Ballon d'Or. I stick to that prediction. I still stick to that prediction that Lamine Yamal should not be in the top 3. I still stick with that prediction. I think the player that may have entered the top 3 now is Hakimi in 3rd position. And I think in 2nd position, it's a tough one, but I'll give it to Rafinha. I think Salah would now take somewhere 5th position.
Oh, so sad.
Sadly, he was in my top 3, but I think sadly now he will be in the 4th or 5th position. So my top 3: Ousmane Dembele, Rafinha, and then Hakimi.
Yeah, so that's from Larry.
My last words.
Your last words as a Liverpoolian. Never walking alone.
He wears the number 20.
That's Diogo.
He'll take us to victory. And when he's running down the left wing, he'll cut inside and score for LFC.
And
he's the last from Portugal. Better than Figo, don't you know?
Diogo.
His name is Diogo.
Diogo.
Rest in peace, boy.
Rest easy, Diogo. Yeah. That's all from my fine analysts in the studio with me, Lawrence Danso, and then Nana Yao Osai with me, your host, Jonathan Binzwa, the Sports Latin. Before we wrap it up, listen to this. Cherished listeners, the final whistle may blow, but the passion never ends. Until next time, keep the game alive in your heart. Stay safe, stay inspired, and thank you for being part of the team. Your energy keeps us going. That's all for the weekend sports rally. Catch us same time next week. Bye-bye.